Hello and welcome to the Living Scary podcast.
Podcast where we talk about real-to-real horror so you can live vicariously through us.
What the fuck, Jesus? Logan and I like to watch and talk about horror movies.
And I am a big bummer, McCall, and I like to talk about true crime and murder.
So, McCall, why don't you tell the audience the trials and tribulations you've been going through with your technical difficulties?
My camera won't work! I'm so mad. We're trying to goddamn son of a bitch. Fuckity fuck. Sorry, mom and dad. I told you I'd stop swearing this much.
Did you really? What making promises you can't keep?
I just was like, they were like, you don't need to. And I'm like, you're right. I can stand on my own two legs. My comedy's gold. And then I started talking like, I'm not that funny.
You are funny.
No, it's cool. You even said you don't really.
Oh my God.
It's cool. It's cool. It's not. I didn't internalize that at all. But yeah, so Logan.
Oh my God, did you? I'm so sorry. I didn't.
Oh my God, did you? No, I'm okay.
I didn't phrase it right. I didn't phrase it at all the way I meant it to come across. I feel bad about it.
I know I am a stitch and a half, so don't even worry. No, it's I'm fine. I'm fine. Anyway, Logan's doing the podcast blind because he can't see my face, so I'm making faces at you the whole time.
I can't see your physical comedy.
And I still am doing like funny face. Like you'll say something and I'll like widen my eyes and look closer at the thing. And I'm like, he can't see me.
I can't react.
I'm only picking my nose right now.
Exclusively. Well, I mean, to be fair, the audience can't see us anyway. So
they're also picking their noses. So we're all together.
Indeed.
So how are you? How's it going?
I'm tired.
I'm so tired.
I'm so pale.
I'm so pale.
I don't know why. I mean, nothing was really crazy today or anything like that. I got to the gym and everything. I got through work, but I'm like, today I'm just like, whew, I sat down to record and I'm like, oh, I'm tired.
I can go to bed.
More like I want to sit in my bed and lay flat on my back and watch Dune. I'm just
Dune?
kidding. I don't want to watch Dune.
Oh, thank God. Sorry, Dune.
Well, I liked I liked it.
I liked it. I mean, I read a fourth of that book. So.
Charlie's like, Logan, you should watch Red Dragon. And I'm like, I can't. McCall still hasn't finished the book. I'll spoil it for her.
Motherfucker. I have. Oh my God. We were watching Hannibal. Like, we watched all of Hannibal until the last two episodes. And the last two episodes say, based on the book Red Dragon. And so Brendan's like, oh, we'll wait till you finish it. And then we never, ever watched Hannibal again.
And how long ago was this?
A year, I think, at this point.
Jesus Christ.
I read the first, maybe I'm like a third of the way in. And then I just stopped because I have no retention or ability to read.
My books are either decoration or it's for D&D. And when I tell you, if I had the same drive to learn things the way I've learned the rules for D&D.
Yeah, you're so really into it.
If math had just appealed the way that D&D has appealed, I think I'd be in a different place career-wise.
I think I'd be a billionaire.
No, I at least would be doing something maybe like
professor, teaching, inventing.
Absolutely not. No, because I could, even with an English degree, I could teach, and I realize I'm like, fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids.
Because
and
also no, you know what? It is fuck them kids. There is a level of fuck them kids, but also fuck them parents.
Oh yeah, I couldn't do that.
Parents, like it's because the relationship is so different now. Because
you should be able to hit those kids and have the parents say, good job.
Okay, not that.
That was too hard.
Not that. But like, I think like when I think maybe when our parents were growing up, maybe it was a little harsh. I feel
they were getting hit.
Yeah, they were getting hit. I feel like we had a pretty good balance. I feel like our teachers were cool, but they like didn't pussyfoot around, you know? And also, our parents were very invested in the fact that, and like, our parents weren't the ones coming in and being like, I'm going to yell at the teacher for why my kids' grades are so bad.
Oh, no, they were very aware.
They were very aware that any fault was ours and ours alone.
Well, they were like, well, our daughter can't read and she's in grade 5, so.
And our son's a lazy piece of shit who just doesn't want to do it.
She hasn't figured out the letter B yet, so.
Do you know how hard it is to show her the word bed and to try to explain to her this is the difference between a B and a D?
She can't do it. She just can't.
Our daughter's 30 and doesn't still really 100% know her right from her left.
I can figure it out. It just takes me a minute. Also, I think everybody's
a minute
like
longer than it should. I feel like it's a minute longer than it should take.
I think everybody is like me, and I am not weird. I'm not the problem here.
No, Meg, I've never met another woman who's ever felt that. You are weird.
Is that Stella?
No, what?
I hear a whine. A very...
No, Stella's not even in the room.
She's not even here? Wow.
No, she's pouting under the bed.
Oh, wow. Then I hear like a weird whiny noise.
Well, here, if you want to give me a second, I can go shut the window. Maybe if it's something outside.
Sure.
Like, no, I'm in relative silence in my office here.
Weird. All right. Well, anyway, should we talk?
Should we toast?
Nah, not yet. At least. Should we talk about what we're talking about?
Let's do it. Let's talk about what we're talking about.
What are we talking about, Logan?
Well, I'm talking about the movie, The Black Phone. It took me a second.
Yay!
Yeah, no, so Charlie and I were watching something we were like looking for something to watch on Sunday. Charlie suggested Nope.
And I want to see that.
I don't know. Well, I don't know about you. There's certain like genres of film that just don't really like, aliens are not really...
They don't jive with you?
It's not my cup of tea. I'm just like, I don't really...
Are you afraid of aliens, or
I have had a healthy fear of aliens. But it's hard because it's like I like the movie Alien.
Yes. Everyone does.
I know, but and then most people are like, well, Aliens is better. And I'm like, I actually disagree. I like Alien better.
I would say I like Alien better.
And I like Alien better because it's a horror movie. And I know,
I like the vibe.
A debate was had about which movie was better, and I was trying to make the point. It's like, we can't compare the two because they're literally two completely different movies.
They're different genres.
One's a horror suspense, and one's an action horror.
It's
quote unquote.
What are you more into? Like,
because both of them are good movies.
Speaking of alien movies, Brendan and I, like in a week, we watched Signs, and then we watched War of the Worlds, the one with Tom Cruise. And
now, okay, shit, I like Signs too. Okay, maybe
Signs is amazing.
Maybe my argument about not liking alien movies is falling apart at the seams because I also like The Thing.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring up The Thing, but Brendan was like, I don't know. Apart. He was like, because I think if you're like comparing the two, War of the Worlds is like a better movie, like objectively, because like just the way they shot things and like the way it is so cool. And I'm like, yeah, but Signs like ticks all my boxes. Like the kids are cute. The aliens are scary, but hardly ever really shown.
There's also like a Bigfoot reference.
There's a Bigfoot like what more do you need?
I'll tell you what, like at the time watching it, that scene where the alien kind of comes out at the birthday party is terrifying, but watching it back again, it's like, yes, that literally is the Bigfoot stance.
I love it. I was like, maybe we could have shown less of him, just a little bit.
Because once we did, it was like, okay, we got Spider-Man on set. A little bit.
Also, Joaquin Phoenix is there. What more could you want? Macaulay Culkin's brother. Other Culkin.
Shacaulay Culkin.
What the fuck is his name?
I don't know.
I should know it. I should. I just watched this movie.
Jasper Culkin.
Oof. No. I know it. Look it up. If you're at home, look it up. Macaulay Culkin has a brother, and he also acts. Anyway, Black Phone.
Black Phone. So yeah, I guess maybe I might have to give Nope a try then, because like I tried to make the argument that alien movies don't do it for me, and then I listed like literally 4 alien movies that I really like. So
I think you like alien movies.
So then I might have to give it a try. Because I like oh my god, I would say Jordan Peele. I like Jordan Peele's movies and everything. So I thought
you were gonna say Jason in Space.
I don't know what the hang up is and why I wouldn't want to watch it, but whatever.
Sometimes you're just not feeling stuff, you know.
Sometimes, but so I'm talking about The Black Phone.
Ooh.
This movie came out in 2021. It's a little longer for my taste. You know
it's
me.
Long?
I'm for me, I was about to say, I'm a tight like 90-minute movie person.
Yeah, hour 30 done.
Hour 30, I'm done. It's only long by like 13 more minutes though.
Oh my god, it's fine.
But like on on Amazon or on Netflix or wherever you watch movies, they usually will say, they don't say an hour and 43 minutes. They say 103 minutes. And I'm like, that sounds like too many minutes.
This movie's never gonna end.
So I was like, meanwhile with The Lord of the Rings, I'm like, well, it could just go on forever and I'll be
Make it longer.
Yeah.
Add more dumb shit.
There are more scenes that were filmed that were never added.
Jesus Christ.
That I would watch.
Stop. Make it stop.
No, but it did not feel like it was really good. It was very well timed, very well paced. I enjoyed this movie. It was directed by Scott Derrickson, written by Joe Hill, Scott Derrickson, C. Robert Cargill. Some of our big cast members are going to be Mason, I believe, Thames. I'm going off
the boy? Is it the little boy? Okay.
Yeah. I'm going off the British pronunciation of like the Thames River. So I'd say it's Mason Thames, possibly. Madeline McGraw, Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke's the best.
And this movie is Blumhouse. This movie is a Blumhouse movie, so it has a vibe, it's the center. And like Ethan Hawke, I'm almost positive was in Sinister. I think he was in the first, I think he's done
Who was he in Sinister?
I think he's the dad, if I remember correctly.
Oh, guess what? I was thinking of the wrong movie, so he probably was.
Were you thinking of
Insidious?
Yes, that one.
Because yes, I was.
You're like, that was
my boyfriend, Patrick Wilson.
Yeah. Maybe I'm I'm wrong. No, maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm right. No, he was in Sinister.
All right.
He's been in a lot of things, but
he has.
But he is. I think Blumhouse kind of has him in their pocket. Like he's like, hey, you want to do a movie? And he's
you
like,
you want to murder a kid?
Do I get to be weird as fuck? And he's like, they're like, yes. And he's like, I'm already spider walking across the ceiling to get to you guys.
I fucking can't wait.
Yep. And I'm trying to think, because I really did not recognize too many people. James Ransone is in it. He was Eddie in It Chapter 2.
Oh shit! Wait, no. Yeah. No. Who the fuck?
Eddie.
In 2?
In Chapter 2, he was the adult Eddie.
Oh god. I'm never going to remember that.
And in this movie, he has a beard, and I kept looking at him. I'm like, is that? I kept thinking, who is that? James Franco? No, not James Franco. Who's the one? Who did I think he was? Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought he was Jake Gyllenhaal with a beard.
Jake Gyllenhaal, huh? Interesting.
Oh my god, am I being judged right now?
I don't know. I've got to look it up because
I think he looks. I think with the beard. I think he looks like Jake Gyllenhaal a little bit.
What's his name?
The actor?
Yeah.
James Ransone?
James? Oh my god. Okay, I see what you're saying. This picture is a bad picture, the one I'm looking at, but
yeah, but like in the movie, he he's even kind of dressed like I picked
Jake Gyllenhaal dresses.
Yeah, I don't know, but
he likes collared shirts.
I think he looks like anyway. I think he looks like.
I don't have to explain myself to you.
I don't have to explain myself to you. This movie certainly doesn't explain a lot of things, but
it doesn't, and that makes me kind of mad. But it doesn't need to. It would cheapen it if it did. I think.
So I do have a question before I start because I was telling Charlie about it, and I realized I did not have the exact dates, but I just wanted to confirm with you. When was the time when the milk carton kids started? That was the 70s, wasn't it?
I think it was the 80s.
That's what that's what I said to Charlie, and then I immediately kind of backtracked a little bit. I was like, wait a minute, maybe it was the 70s. But because I was questioning whether or not there actually would have been like missing signs because.
Okay, yeah, I looked it up, and I guess the Milk Carton Kids is a stupid band. So we'll never know because
we're inundated by this irrelevant band. I'm sure that they're more relevant than I think. But anyway, so basically we get the idea that it's 1978. We're established. We have a time period, and there is a child abductor who the news has.
I am so sorry. In December of 1984, they initiated the Missing Child Milk Carton Program.
Okay, so then, like, because I was like, well, then would they have been making missing posters? Because missing posters are definitely a big part of it.
But I'm not sure. Maybe these frantic parents would make a poster.
Is Kinko's a thing? How are they printing these off?
At Kinko's. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Like, who's printing off?
They don't have computers. Anyway. Yeah, how the fuck are they doing it?
Yeah, I don't know. Are they like just clipping things together? I don't know.
We found a hole in the movie.
The 70s were so long ago.
Anyway, like they didn't exist.
Exactly. It's like it may as well have been like knights in shining armor times. So anyway, there's this guy that the news is dubbed the Grabber, which again, I fucking don't think we should be giving super villain names to these. I'm like, name them the Pee Pee Poo Poo Man. Like,
Limp Dick Man is grabbing kids.
Little Dingus is
Little Dingus
is diddling kids.
Yikes.
Yeah, like fuck this, like the Grabber, like the fuck,
ugly guy.
Yeah, pimple face pus freak. Anyway.
But then everyone's gonna look for pimply guys, and they're gonna start blaming people.
True. They're gonna start blaming all the.
No, I have
people.
acne.
I have cystic acne. I promise. So anyway, he's been kind of going through this Denver suburb, and snatching kids, specifically boys, young boys. And we're introduced to our main characters. We have Finney and Gwen. They are brother and sister, and they have this shitty dad.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I kind of went back and forth with this dad, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about you by the end of the movie, but
I kind of liked that.
I did too.
I liked that it was like he definitely cared, but he was not a great dad.
No, and we'll get into it, but like the movie starts out with a baseball scene where, because Finn plays baseball and he's a really good pitcher, but unfortunately he kind of whiffs the last pitch of the game and loses it to this guy named Bruce, this kid. And Bruce is a really cool guy and was super nice. Unfortunately, of course, you know what that means. He gets snatched.
He has to die.
He has to die. He gets grabbed by this grabber. And the calling card of this grabber are black balloons, which again, I'm like, is that something they had in the 70s? I don't even know. Did the 70s like have like color at that point? Like
everything was already black and white, so it was easy for him to get these black balloons.
Everything was like Leave It to Beaver. Like,
was Leave It to Beaver in color?
No, it was black and white.
I don't know.
I was saying, like, the whole world was in black and white.
Huh. All right. Wait, no. When was the? Never mind. We can't keep going into this. It was old.
I was making a joke about it being old. That was
no, I know. But now I'm thinking about it.
But then also being like balloons. Did they have them? Anyway, so his calling card are these black balloons, and these detectives are kind of searching around. And I thought it was really funny because they do pull Gwen out of class at one point to interview her about this, because she was talking about these black balloons with the sister of Bruce and had mentioned them. And Gwen, I love Gwen. Like, she was probably my favorite character in the movie, because she immediately just pops off. She's like, yeah, because obviously I'm the fucking grabber. And she's like cussing at them. And you can tell there's the one police officer is like trying not to laugh because he knows. But like, we kind of find out that Gwen has these prophetic dreams.
Also, how old would you say Gwen is?
Gwen's probably I'd say Finn is probably 6th grade because they're dissecting frogs. And I'd probably
and in the 70s, that was the normal curriculum.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But I'd probably say that she'd probably be 4th grade, so maybe like 10, 11, somewhere in there. Max 12, I'd say.
Got it.
I think she's supposed to be younger.
Yes.
But I mean, she's definitely the younger sibling. But anyway, so we also are introduced to a good friend of Finney's named Robin, who kicks the shit out of these bullies and like threatens these other bullies who are all trying to bully Finn. And so you know what happens when someone's nice to Finn. They've got to die.
You gotta die. You're never going to make it.
Robin unfortunately gets snatched by Robin. Yeah. Robin gets snatched by Robin.
I thought you were making a joke, and I was like, I don't think I'm smart enough to get it.
Nope, I was not making a joke. I was, I'm tired. Anyway.
Speaking just gobbledygook.
Yeah. The grabbledygook. That's the name of the episode. The grabbledygook.
Grabbledygook. We already did a gobbledygook episode, though.
Oh, we did. Damn it. Oh, well. So the grabber abducts Robin. So, you know, the tradition of people being nice to Finn dying.
Yep.
Except Gwen and Finn have a very good relationship. I feel like I saw our relationship with them. Like, I definitely feel like you'd come in and smash someone across the head with a rock to defend me if I was getting picked on.
I love that. People never
picked on me, but
and I definitely had the exact same thought when that scene happened. Was like, yeah, I'd brain a kid with a rock for Logan.
The amount of blood that gushed out of that kid's head, I was like, someone should call a doctor. I was like, she just about killed this kid.
She hits him with the rock, and I'm like, he'll die.
Also, I loved how like she hits him with the rock, and then she kind of gets beat up a little bit, and then her and the kid who got hit with the rock kind of are like, all right, we're gonna sit out for just a second. and they sit together. They're like, we're taking a break, a quick time out here.
Gotta take a breather.
Yeah. Well, and then, you know, if life couldn't get, and then we also do see some of the abuse that they're put through for their father. Their father's an alcoholic. He like beats Gwen with a belt because of the police. The police came and interviewed him about it, and were like talking about these balloons, and said that Gwen said that she saw them in dreams. And we definitely get the vibe. Well, we don't get the vibe. They pretty much just as much tell us that their mother also kind of had these prophetic dreams and saw things and heard things that weren't there. So we're definitely getting like that she has her mother's psychic gifts.
And the mom is not there anymore.
No. We do get an answer on that later, but for right now, we just know that she's not there. And so we do witness a little bit of abuse. And, you know, if life just couldn't get any worse for Finney, well, it's going to get a whole lot worse. Because he gets snatched. He gets grabbed. He gets grabbed. You get fork stabbed, Charlie. You get grabbed, Finney. And the grabber kind of throws him into this soundproof basement, which I'm like, okay, on one hand, smart. On the other hand, again, just like the black balloons, did they have soundproofing back then? I guess they must have, because
they had things in the 70s, Logan. Like they weren't just.
Did they have cars?
Rubbing sticks together.
They were living in the woods.
The 70s was just a bunch of cavemen.
No, okay, so they had this. So I'm like, on one hand, like I was like, well, that's a smart move for the killer. That, like, you know, it's soundproof. But on the other hand, and it kind of happens where it's like, so he's soundproof, so he doesn't know anything of what this kid's doing.
No.
And this kid is, good on him. He immediately is like trying to find, like, let's go. Where are we going? Let's try to figure a way out of this shit. And throughout the movie, there's this black phone that is in the basement. And the grabber insists that it doesn't ring. And he's very odd. The grabber has a very odd way of speaking, and he wears this really creepy mask that was, it's like, it has like several pieces to it. Like it's a mask that's in 2 pieces, and it has like an interchangeable bottom mouth. And I think it's to kind of like exemplify the state of mind that he's in.
Yeah,
and, like,
it's a pretty sweet mask.
Yeah, and like I think like the different kind of personalities that he has, and I think like because there's sometimes where he wears both the top and the bottom half. Then there's times where he just wears the bottom half. And then there's times where he wears, I don't think he ever wears just the top half, if I remember correctly, and like exposes his mouth. I don't think we ever see his mouth.
I also don't. Because when he kidnaps Finney, the balloons are in the way too. So you don't really see him.
We do see his mouth briefly, but it's really weird because in the scene where he meets Finney, he has this weird makeup on that's very similar to the texture of the mask. I do think we eventually see his face at the end, but we're getting ahead of ourselves here. So there's this black phone in this basement, hence the name of the film. And every once in a while, the phone will ring and Finney will answer, and it'll be a different kid that this guy has killed. And basically, the whole premise of the movie is, and these kids are giving him clues to help him escape by basically saying, like, hey, this is what I did. Try that. Like, I wasn't able to finish it, but you might be able to. Or like, hey, don't do this because he's going to kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
We also find out that because at one point the grabber leaves the door open. And that's what one of the boys is like, don't go up there because he wants you to go up there. And when you go up there, he's going to beat the shit out of you with a belt. He's very specific about the belt. So I think that there is, I was telling you earlier, I think there is some kind of like symbology and like, because the motive of the grabber is never truly fully explained. However, through context clues to the fact that we watched Gwen be beat with a belt by their father, and then clearly this grabber has something about this, like he wants to play this game that they call Naughty Boy, and where he catches you and then beats you with a belt. I can safely assume that this guy had probably an abusive childhood.
Yes.
And that is what probably fucked him up in the noodle. But throughout the movie, these various boys give him help. Like one shows him the location of a rope that he can use to get a vent off and try to get to a window. Another boy tells him about loose tiles so that he can dig out and dig like a hole. Another boy tells him about like a spot in the wall that's weak and could get to a freezer. And then his friend Robin, who unfortunately did die, is like, hey, you're running out of time. You're going to have to beat the shit out of him with this phone.
It's time for you, a 12-year-old, to beat up a fully grown man.
Exactly. Get ready for it. And like Charlie was like, I was like, because at one point the grabber falls asleep while he's waiting for Finn to play the Naughty Boy game.
Yes.
And I said to Charlie, I was like, if he took that rope and just throttled the guy, it wouldn't matter that he's a fully grown adult, because if you can get in a certain position, he can't reach you. And it doesn't matter how much force you don't need to apply a bunch of force to choke someone out. Like,
I mean,
you'll probably be there for, okay, you do have to apply enough to like make them go unconscious. But like, if he can get the right amount of leverage, he could do it. But at the same time, then Charlie was like, Logan, he's 12. Do you think that he would be thinking this?
As a fully grown woman, I'd be like, he'd throw me off. There's no way I'd be able to do that. Just
you got confidence in yourself. I was
if he just like runs into the wall backwards, like I'll just get the wind knocked out of me and I'll let go.
That's a fair point. Anyway, so
men are scary.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Just that. Yeah.
Anyway, so meanwhile, while these like visions are happening and while he's trying to escape, Gwen is trying to use her prophetic visions and dreams to find Finn against protestations from her father. But eventually he realizes they're the only thing that are going to help us find Finn. And he, that's where we get the iconic line of, because she very heavily believes that Jesus is the one who's giving her these visions, but not in like a weirdly religious way. I want to say, she's begging Jesus to send her these messages. And she at one point like comes down to pray. She goes, "What the fuck, Jesus?" I thought that was so funny. But she does use her visions to kind of like narrow things down as much as she can.
And she's working with the cops, which is pretty sweet.
Yes. And they seem to be taking her word for it. So I don't know. There must have been more word about their mother being kind of psychic, or because the cops seem to implicitly believe her.
She's also just really confident.
She is.
Just the way she delivers stuff, so I believe her.
We do also get that, like, her father does say that their mother's visions eventually led to her committing suicide.
Sorry, that was not appropriate for me to laugh at.
But you know, so and the reason he's kind of like this is because he doesn't want that same kind of fate for her.
Which is fair.
Which is fair.
He has worry for his children, and he cares that Finn is gone, and he wants his daughter to be safe. But then he also drinks and beats them with a belt. So you're kind of like, what are you trying to do?
At the beginning of the movie, like, they're all like being so quiet around him, and I'm like, why? Well, then I realized I was like, oh, because he's hungover.
He's hungover.
And I'm like, how much do you need to drink to be that hungover?
I think a lot.
He must be, because it's like, I enjoy a drink from time to time. And even the most hungover I've been, I was able to pull it together. Yes, I had to wear sunglasses indoors. Yes, I had to go throw up upstairs, and then I was fine afterwards. But I can truly say that party that we had, that is the most hungover I've probably been in my entire life. Like,
no, I have a different one that got me good.
At least I can't think of another one that was so memorable in my mind of me being like, I want to die.
That one affected me so much because we had shit to do the next day. We had to go hang out with family, and I had to rein it in. And that did also cause me to dry heave a little bit.
I wasn't dry heaving. I was having a full-blown event. I was having an episode.
I was losing it all.
Wait, which one's the one that got you together?
Probably
That'll be our sibling story. Our sibling story.
No, I already told that one.
Oh, you already told it? Which one was it?
It was when I went to my friend's wedding and I...
Oh, when you had just a little too much fun?
I had too much fun. And almost died. Fair. Anyway.
I have a sibling story for today anyway.
Oh my God.
So, let's see here. Where was I again? The dreams. And mom being dead.
Yes.
And dad being a drunk.
Yeah.
And abusing them. So, back to Finney. Finney, after receiving the final kind of advice from Robin, being like, hey, you got to use all the things that we've told you and all the tools that we've given you, and you're going to beat the shit out of him with his phone.
You're going to overpower a grown man.
And hey, I'll be honest, he pretty much thinks of just about everything. He lays traps, he has gigs, he has things to do, and he's ready to beat the shit out of him. Well, meanwhile, a third party that it's weird because it was never weirdly ham-fisted, but the fact that this grabber guy has a brother.
He has a brother.
And this brother is trying to solve the grabber mystery.
He's not smart.
He's not smart, and he's also a cokehead. So it's that's where it's we're I think earlier I was and his brother seems to be fine. It's well, maybe he's handling the abuse by throwing himself into trying to get involved in this case and doing so much cocaine about it.
So much. It didn't help him solve it.
No, well, kind of. Because his brother, Max, the grabber's brother, eventually, finally, puts two and two together and realizes that all these kidnappings are happening within the area of their house that he's living in with his brother, where Finney is at. And I don't know, I would be very suspicious if I was living with you and Brendan was hey, Logan, also never go in the basement, ever.
If someone says you can never go into a room, there's a dead body in that room. There is. So you have to go.
What's that comedian's name? She is so funny. She says something about she's people are always I never saw it coming. He just was so nice and he was so friendly and everything. And she's of course he is. He's doing the thing he loves the most. She's like, if you ever say hi to a neighbor and they say each day is better than the last, check his basement.
Oh, that sounds like Michelle Wolf.
I think that might be her. Like, she has a very distinctive way of speaking.
Then it is Michelle Wolf, based on the way that you delivered that.
Yes, it was so funny, and I'm like, it's also so true. Stella is in the room now, so if you hear her tinkling around,
I hear her tinkling around.
Let me see. So anyway, Max eventually puts 2 and 2 together and makes fish, and realizes that his brother is the person. I don't think he's quite as upset about that, but he realizes that the kids are in this building. So he goes down.
Those screams he hears every night are in the house.
Well, it's soundproofed. And his brother won't let him go in their basement.
but they didn't have soundproofing in the 70s.
Yep. They didn't have anything in the 70s.
No.
They were smearing shit on the walls to send messages to each other.
They couldn't figure anything out.
No. And so he eventually goes down and like opens the door and is like, oh my God. And then Finn's like, call someone, call the police. And he's like, yeah, sure. Do you want to know? And the guy's like, do you want to know how I found you? And I'm like, you dumb idiot. Like,
you're gonna die.
And then sure enough, the door opens a little further and the grabber is right behind him and axes. He kills his own brother.
God
and
damn.
Seems fairly nonplussed about it.
I think his brother was more of an annoyance than anything.
Yeah.
He was doing all his cocaine.
And then I thought this next scene was really good because it's the final confrontation and the grabber is like gonna kill Finney and Finney's ready with the phone. I think he does get Finney gets a good swipe in and hits him with the phone and then leads him down the hallway where he had dug that hole that I briefly mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. And the grabber falls into the hole because he'd covered it with a carpet. And inside the hole, he had placed the vent so that when the grabber's leg falls in the hole, it catches on the vent and breaks his ankle or something. It keeps him in the hole and stops him from getting out.
Yes.
And then Finney just beats the shit out of him with the phone and then does what I said earlier and wraps the cord around his neck and just starts choking the shit out of him. And I'm like, go, Princess Leia, choke out Jabba. Like,
kill him.
I was like, kill him, get him. And eventually the phone rings, even though like the cord's been cut and everything. And Finney's like, it's for you, and holds it up to the grabber. And all the kids get like their last like bit in there.
Their last fuck you in there.
Yeah, right as Finney snaps this dude's neck. And I was like, work. I was like, that was great. Meanwhile, sweet. Gwen finally figured out, like, she's like, I know where the house is. And she gets the police to come to the house and she's like waiting outside of it. Well, it turns out that the house that she was seeing in her dreams was the house where the bodies of the boys had been buried in the basement. Come to find out, the grabber, I guess the grabber's whole like thing is that he drives around this van as like a magician. He says he's a magician. So I'm like, okay, so you're able to make that much money that you can afford 2 fucking houses in the suburbs of Denver, Colorado?
He's making bodies disappear. He is a good magician, okay?
That's true. But they never reappear.
Yeah.
But so she was seeing where the boys were. So she's across the street and eventually Finn walks out as the police are finding the bodies and she goes to Finn. The police are like, oh my God. So I did enjoy this one that like, it was about as happy an ending as you could possibly get.
Yeah.
And then, and then they're in the ambulance with like those shock blankets around them, which I'm like, did they have those in the 70s?
Oh my God.
That's the name of the episode did they have that in the 70s?
Did they have that in the 70s? The answer is no.
The answer is they had nothing.
They didn't have anything.
They actually went backwards in technology. Anyway, and the father finally comes and he does have his breakdown moment. He's like, he apologizes to them. And I do like it that they did not leave it ambiguous that it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to be a happy family now. It's like, it was very much like the father's like saying he's sorry. And the kids are like, all right, well, we'll fucking see it. Like they were both,
we know.
I think it's because both of them, especially Finn, had been through so much that they were like, I don't have to take shit from nobody no more.
I could beat you with a phone, old man.
Yeah, and break your neck. And sure enough, of course, he goes back to school, and all the kids are like, oh my God, did you hear? Finn killed the grabber. And they're all like, I heard you pushed him in front of a bus. And there's like all the kind of rumors that are going around. And he sits down with his lab partner that he had met earlier in the movie that I didn't mention because she was unimportant into this next moment. And everyone's called him Finny throughout the movie. And he sits next to this girl who he kind of has a crush on. And she calls him Finny. He kind of looks at her and goes, call me Finn. And kind of like, I think it's kind of like I think it's definitely a significance for him kind of being like, you know what? I'd like to be called Finn. Like
I'm a grown man.
I'm someone different. Like he's like, I'm a new person. I think it was what I was getting from it. It's like, I'm a new person. I
have a body count. I
have one more body count than everyone in this room.
I have earned Finn.
Well, and I also think that because that body that he killed had a body count, I think that those residuals
he gains that body count. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now he's got like what, 10 kids?
Well, it's like one adult man and then like a 3 carryover. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, how many kids did that guy kill?
4, I think, as far as we're aware.
But isn't it like probably way more?
No, I think it was the movie sure as fuck made it seem like it was like kids were disappearing on a weekly basis.
It was like the amount of posters around.
But no, like there was, I think the first kid was like, I think a boy named Billy. And then the second kid was, I think, that Vance kid. And then it was Bruce, and then it was Robin.
All right.
So I think there was 4 kids. So like, but it was the way that the movie was making it seem like kids were disappearing from the suburb at an alarming at an alarming rate. And really, it was probably 4. I don't want to say just 4 because any amount of children.
Just 4 children.
No, any amount of children disappearing and dying is terrible.
Is a bad amount.
But the movie makes it seem like it's a much higher amount, but it was 4. And then Finney was the last. Finney was the 5th, but then Finney ended it.
Killed his ass and then gained that 4.
Yeah. But this was a good movie. I enjoyed it. And it is, I believe, free to watch on Amazon?
I think so.
I can't remember where we watched it. I think we watched it on Amazon.
At this very moment, quite possibly.
Yes. It is free on Amazon Prime Video with a subscription. So if you have Amazon Prime Video, you should be able to watch it. You know, I don't even think you need Shudder to be able to watch it. But it's a movie. It's weird because it says it was 2021, but like the release date was 2022. So I don't know what.
I remember it coming out last year. So
I don't know if like the original release date was for 2021. They'd finished it, but then they pushed it back for some reason.
They might have because the pandemic was still happening.
Maybe, but like it was weird because the movie. It's on IMDb says the movie was 2021, but like when you Google it, Google says the release date is June 24th of 2022. So who's to say? So it's a fairly recent movie, and honestly, I thought it was really good. I'd say out of okay, I actually don't really agree with the IMDb rating. The IMDb rating is 6.9 out of 10. I'm like,
that's way too low.
I'd give it a 7.5 to an 8.
Yeah. What the hey? IMDb.
I'd say it was a solid B.
I'd say it's a B.
I'd say it's a solid B.
It's a comfortable B.
Yes, it's a comfortable B. I'd even be like a high B, low B plus.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Because like it was good. It was definitely good. It didn't scratch all my itches that I need for like my A tier horror movies. And don't ask me what my A tier horror movies are because I can't tell you.
Because Logan doesn't like aliens.
No, because Logan has a weird system. Basis of judging. He has a system that he doesn't fully understand.
It's just whatever, that feeling you get.
That feeling.
When Showgirls comes on for the millionth time and he's like, wow, I love this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was The Black Phone.
All right.
Definitely recommend.
Is it my turn?
'Tis your turn.
All right.
Shall we take a quick intermission?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Or are you ready to go into it?
No, I'll take an intermission. I'll get another drink.
Intermission. I gotta go tinkle tankle.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna pause it. All right, I clicked resume.
Oh, did I tell you I bought a new shirt?
No.
I bought a new shirt because I really liked it, and it was like one that was like it was a crop top, and I was like, yeah, I've been going to the gym. Maybe I can start rocking more crop tops. And so I got it, and I got an extra large. Should have gotten something a little bigger because basically instead of a crop top, what I bought was a bandeau bra.
Oh my.
It's a little toit. It's very stretchy though. So that's the thing is it's like it stretches, it can stretch really far because it's actually a shirt that's meant to be like worked out in. It's like meant for like weightlifting. So like, but like it like hits like it basically is just covering up my nipples.
Amazing. So you wear it all the time is what you're saying?
Yeah. No, I just bought it. I just got it today in the mail.
Does it say anything funny or is it just regular?
It says Fat Boy Squad.
I love that. That's a cool shirt.
Yeah, and I wish I had gotten an extra large because I think that I would have been a little more comfortable in.
Damn.
But I'm not trying to return it with some company. I don't know how they're.
I don't know what their company.
Well, I don't know what their return policy is, and I've already worn it.
Can you exchange it? Oh, if you've already worn it, then nah.
And it's a limited edition item, so I don't even know if they'd have the size I'd want in stock at this point. I don't want to wait another 3 weeks for it.
I guess you're just wearing that one then.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep going to the gym, and then maybe it'll fit a little. Well, it's if I keep going to the gym and I keep working out my chest. It's really going to be a bandeau bra when I get these big old mommy milkers. My big old triple dipple D's. Like,
don't call them triple dipple D's. I did not like that.
It was chest day today, and even that moment I grabbed my chest, I was like, "Hello."
Oh my god! All right, well. Here's an appropriate segue.
Yeah.
To my child kidnapping and murder.
From bandeau bras to kidnapping.
To Logan's triple dipple D's.
Triple dipple D's, baby.
So I got my information from an All That's Interesting article by Marco Mararitov. Yep. And the Just Thought Lounge did a video on it on YouTube, and it was really good. I like them. So, Jacob Wetterling was from St. Joseph, Minnesota.
Yep. I know that this name sounds familiar.
Yeah, it probably should. If you're from Minnesota, you know about Jacob Wetterling. Like, it's... Also, if you like true crime, I think you know about Jacob Wetterling. Like, I feel like it was a big deal.
There are a lot more true crime things that happen in Minnesota than I've realized.
A lot. But this one was, like, big.
Mm-hmm.
But they live in St. Joseph, Minnesota, which I guess is a rural area. I looked it up. I don't know
what that is.
Because I don't know where St. Joseph is. It is literally right next to St. Cloud. Which...
Okay.
I've heard of St. Cloud before. So it's like... It's more right in the center of Minnesota. If you can visualize that on a map.
Mm-hmm.
And so, okay, on Sunday, October 22nd, 1989, after 9 p.m. So it's late. Jacob Wetterling is 11. His younger brother Trevor is 10, and his friend Aaron Larson is also 11. They are coming home from a convenience store on their bikes. They had just gone to the Tom Thumb convenience store, and they had rented a movie, which I looked at, and I don't remember the name.
I'm sorry, rewind it back. What year was this?
1989.
Okay.
So they had rented a video. I mean, it sounds like it was going to be a really fun night for a bunch of, 11-year-olds. They rented a video. They got a shit ton of snacks from the convenience store.
Stuffed crust pizza. Well, that was the 90s.
Oh, yeah, that was the 90s. They didn't have that. They didn't have anything in the 80s either.
No. No, they didn't.
So, but like and their parents weren't home. That was another, like, that would have been a banger of a night. They were just like, again? 11.
And no parents home. Okay.
I mean, it was the 80s.
I'm understanding why kids go missing.
In the 80s, people didn't give a shit.
Our parents had us on such lockdown. And it wasn't just, I redact, not just the parents of our generation, like you and me. We had to know everything. We had to know what parents were going to be there. We had to know what time we were leaving and what time we were coming back. We had to know, like, transportation. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. And in these 80s, 90s, they were like, bye, see you whenever.
Yeah. Like,
hopefully don't die.
It was because of cases like Jacob Wetterling. Because, so basically, it's Sunday night. Your parents aren't home. Jacob calls. So this one was in... I don't remember where I read this. It was either in the article or the video. But what I read was he called his mom and was like, we want to ride our bikes to the Tom Thumb to get a video. And she said, no, because it's 9:00 at night and you have to ride your bikes there. So no. And then they called his dad and said, can we go rent a movie from the Tom Thumb? And the dad's like, well, I don't see why not. So
and Dad's drunk on a bar stool somewhere like, yeah, sure, whatever.
They pulled that move where they asked both parents separately and got the answer they wanted. But like, yeah, it's late. They even had like reflective vests and shit, and they had their little bikes. Which by our parents' time, they'd already figured that out. And so we always got well, what'd your mom or what'd your dad say? What did mom say? She said no. So you're not going. Looks like you don't need the gardening tools then. What is that? That's Coraline. Oh, yeah. What did the boss say? Don't even think about it, Coraline Jones. I was saying it earlier. If I had put any iota into effort into school that I did into memorizing movie lines or D&D, I would be in a different place right now. If we could memorize facts like we could memorize lines, oof. Or it'd song be lyrics. Over. Yeah. Sorry, go on. I'm sorry, Jacob Wetterling. Got the answer he wanted. So they went to the thing. Oh my gosh. A man comes out of a driveway. And when I think of a driveway, I think of the suburbs. Like, I think like a paved road and a paved driveway, and there's houses everywhere. But this is not suburbs. This is rural. This is not suburbs, TM. So you probably have like, maybe the road is paved. Maybe. This is not pudding. Yes. And the driveway, I'm pretty sure isn't. Like, it's a dirt road. There are no houses around. It is just the road you are on, and then this driveway. A grown man comes out wearing like a stocking cap mask nightmare thing, and he is holding a gun, and he just tells the kids to throw their bikes in the ditch and get on the ground. And so, like, these kids are like freaking out. They get on the ground. They're like face down on the ground. So he goes to each boy and asks them how old they are. And the youngest boy, Trevor, is 10. He tells Trevor to go run to the woods and to not look back or he'll shoot him. So Trevor's running into the woods. And then he goes between Jacob and Aaron and like looks at both. He like has them look at him so he can look at their face. And then he tells Aaron to go run into the woods and not look back. And so Aaron runs to the closest neighbor, which I assure is probably not all that close. And I also heard the 911 call of this neighbor calling the cops. And this dude is so calm. I can't imagine the neighbor or the neighbor calling 911 is like the calmest I've ever heard a person. Like, he should have been a 911 operator. The way this guy's like, all right, so we got a man who kidnapped a boy in the neighborhood. And I'm sorry, what did the man look like? Like, the way he talked, I was like, I would be screeching at this point.
Also, if I in this scenario, I'd picture I'm a rural person. I have a wife, I assume.
I have cows.
I have cows. I would be telling my wife, I'm like, you call 911. I'm grabbing my shotgun that I assume that I have because I'm a farmer rural type. And I'm getting in my pickup truck, which I also assume that I have. And I'm going to go and take care of this shit.
I'm going to kill that guy. So the boys call 911.
I talk a big game, but I know I would never.
If you were this fake rural man that doesn't exist.
That's true. Maybe it would be different. So the boys are
like telling 911 what happened, which they don't really know. I mean, all they know is some dude came out and took their friend and told them to run and not look back. They don't have his face. They don't know if he had a car or if he was on foot. The police think he like stashed the car like around the curve in the driveway. But the boys didn't see a car, but they were also like 10 years old and freaking out. So, let me see. So prior to the incident, it was really common in the area for people to not lock their doors at night, to let their kids play outside after dark, because it was a, in quotes, safe rural area.
The way that I have an extra lock on our door in our apartment. Like, I don't just have the deadbolt. I have the like viral door locky majiggy that was like featured on Amazon and shit. And I was like, no one's getting in this fucking place.
I am not fucking around. Like, I go to take out the garbage and I'm like, I'm just going to lock the door real quick. And Brendan's like, you're walking down the hallway. And I'm like, if a serial killer came in and killed you in the time it took me to get the garbage out, I would never forgive myself.
Thank you. I'm in the same boat. Charlie's like, Logan, we're literally just going out to the garbage. And I'm like, and someone could come in and take everything.
Take everything we've ever loved and owned.
I'm a little less of the, I'm going to get murdered, and a little more of like, people are going to take my stuff. And I just don't like people touching my things.
Yes. I feel similarly, but I don't want people to take my life. So yeah, people in the area are like, yeah, we know everyone here. Like, it's St. Joseph, Minnesota. And it becomes pretty clear after this abduction that it is not a safe rural area. A young boy comes forward and lets the police know that there is straight up a man who has been targeting young boys in the area, and all of the boys in the area know about it. Like, word of mouth. These young kids are like, yeah, so I got grabbed and like sexually assaulted, so watch out. There's like a dude loose.
Wait, this has been happening?
Yeah, this is like a boy comes forward and he's like, hey, so me and like 8 other boys have been grabbed by a grabber, basically, and sexually assaulted, and then let go. Like, ultimately, we have been let go. And they all know it quietly and just keep that inside until they die, I assume. And then some boy doesn't get let go. And now this kid has to come forward and be like, hey, guess what? So
hey, here's the thing.
We're all living in fear here.
Well, it's funny because they're like, it's a safe place. It's like this. It's a safe place because no one fucking knows where St. fucking John, Minnesota is. Not even people who live in Minnesota.
I don't know this area. But also, no one's saying anything because, I don't know. None of these boys wanted to say anything till now. I'm not really sure.
Well, I don't know. It's like, I guess, especially for boys in that era, like,
they don't want to talk about it.
I was admitting to the fact they were taken advantage of was probably more than just traumatizing. It was also embarrassing. Like, I feel like maybe there's like a level of like, they'd feel like people would question their, I don't know, manhood.
Toughness.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
now it's
I don't.
Like, no, you say something.
Yeah, you have to. I don't know. I like these boys did nothing wrong. They were victims, but holy shit, it's super scary. So like the police are now like, oh no, there is much more happening. So all of these boys are detailing these incidents, and they're pretty similar to what happened to Jacob Wetterling. The police are investigating the cases. They get the FBI involved. They're thinking that this case is involved in other cases in the region, and they've all gone unsolved at this point because people haven't found the perpetrator or people haven't come forward. So we're going to jump really forward because this is 1989. I don't know if you know much about the Jacob Wetterling case, but
it definitely is familiar. I'm blanking on anything.
I did not know it had a conclusion when I picked the case. I knew of this case as like an unsolved child abduction. So we're jumping forward to 2010. Joy Baker is a 22-year-old lady, and she writes her first blog post about the case. She gets interested when she hears about the family and what they're going through, and she just wants to start investigating what's going on. She learns about the case of Jared Schriel. He was a 12-year-old boy at the time of 1989. And he was molested by a man who grabbed him and took him and then let him go. He had told the police about everything. They didn't really find anything. The case had very similar aspects to Jacob's disappearance. And this was all within 10 miles of where Jacob was abducted. So this blogger kind of finds this tie-in and brings publicity to it, or notice to it, I guess. So she gets things rolling and linked this case to the Schriel case. And so at the time, the FBI gets this guy, they take his DNA, and they don't find anything. And then when Baker kind of brings up the Schriel case, the FBI or whoever's in charge of DNA testing, I'm not really sure, they find previously unidentified DNA that was in the Schriel crime that is matched to the person that had been questioned for Jacob Wetterling's disappearance. So now the FBI is like, okay, cool. So it's probably that guy. So October of 2015, Danny James Heinrich is named as a person of interest in the disappearance of Jacob Wetterling. He was originally questioned by the FBI in 1989, and his DNA was taken. In 1915, Heinrich's DNA matched the Schriel case. He was another boy who was abducted in 1989, but the statute of limitations had expired for the kidnapping, and he could not be arrested for the crime against Jared Schriel.
Nope. That shouldn't be a thing if it's conclusive. If it is conclusive.
Yeah, I looked up stuff about, because I read that and I was like, statute of limitations on kidnapping and sexually assaulting a kid exists? How is that a thing?
That should be that follows you to the grave in which we will put you.
So yeah, I guess he couldn't get in trouble for that one anymore because he waited the appropriate amount of time. But this leads the police to put out a search warrant on this guy because they think he's connected to Jacob Wetterling. And the police find a staggering amount of child porn in his home. And he is arrested in 2015.
Now, there we go. Now we got him.
Yeah. He, in the, oh my gosh, Just Thought Lounge video, they did a good job of showing snippets of the investigation, documentary footage and stuff. And this guy had been taking taking videos of kids in the neighborhood playing like very creepy, scary shit. And the police are like, got him. So
me no likey.
Yeah, they know. So they have all of this horrible evidence, but they have nothing to really connect him to Jacob Wetterling's case other than the fact that he definitely did this to Jared Schriel, and it's the same thing that happened to Jacob Wetterling, and we're pretty sure it was him. So they kind of give him a plea bargain where they're like, okay, so you lead us to the burial site of Jacob Wetterling. And he agrees. So he takes them to the boys' remains, which are near Paynesville, Minnesota, which is 30 miles away from his house, from Jacob Wetterling's house. The plea bargain itself is that Heinrich would plead guilty to the 25 federal child pornography charges and reveal the location of the body and testify to the details of the crime itself to kind of give the family closure, like we know what happened. And let me see. In exchange for the plea bargain, Heinrich is not charged with Wetterling's murder, but he is sentenced to the max amount prison term for having the child pornography, which is 20 years. And then basically in the Wikipedia article, it was like, but also with some other legal mumbo jumbo, he will never get out, pretty much. So
good.
It's kind of a win-win where like, he will probably never get out. We found the body. The family gets closure, even though it's horrible. And he gets put away forever. Hopefully. They do find out that on the night of the murder, Heinrich avoided getting caught by the police because he had a police scanner. Like, he had everything. He was definitely going, allegedly, I don't know, going through and like kidnapping kids. He was using, he had multiple police scanners in his home. He had all of this creepy child stuff going on. And basically what the police found was that there were no incidents of any more child abductions in that area after the death of Jacob Wetterling. And there was like an interview with a cop in one of the things I watched where the cop was like, it's possible that him murdering the kid was just so traumatic that he just never did it again. But that's very rare. That's not usually what happens in these kinds of cases.
Yeah, usually they escalate.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure what happened other than he murdered him, and either we don't know what happened, like something did happen and we just aren't aware of it, or maybe he stopped. I'm not really sure. But 4 months after the abduction, Jacob's parents, Jerry and Patty, made the Jacob Wetterling Foundation, which is a group that advocates for children's safety. The Jacob Wetterling Act was passed in 1994. This is a law that requires states to implement a registry of sex offenders and crimes against children. The law requires states to form registries of offenders convicted of sexually violent offenses and verify the addresses of sexual offenders annually. So, and there's like a hierarchy too, like you have to do it annually for like at least 10 years. But if you're like a sexually violent predator, you have to do it for the rest of your life. So this is the law that started the sexual predator registry, basically. Before you didn't know. Your neighbor could just be a creep and you just would have no idea. So this law kind of started making sure it's a safe area and making sure you know what's going on around you. And it also started putting the fear of God into every parent that ever existed. This act is the first law in American history to mandate that each state maintains a sex offender registry. And I have notes on the purposes of statute of limitations, because sometimes I don't understand why it exists.
That's great, because I also do not understand exactly why.
So the purpose of the statute of limitations is to protect defendants. The reason is that they made these limitations so that the plaintiff with a valid cause of action will pursue a case within a reasonable diligence, which is legal talk for like, if you have a problem, if you have a reason to do a case, you're not just going to sit on it for a really long time and then present it years later when the person's not prepared for it. So it's kind of protecting you as like someone who could get in trouble for something, I guess. It is, oh gosh, by the time a claim is litigated, a defendant might have lost evidence necessary to disprove the claim. So if you didn't kidnap a child, but it's been 20 years, how are you going to prove, no, I didn't do that because I was probably at home on the night 20 years ago? Like, I don't know. I have no way of remembering 20 years ago, but that's kind of the purpose, is to help people who would be possibly in trouble for things that they didn't do or stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Kind of, but I feel like more often than not, at the same time, I always would say it like maybe I'm just sensationalizing things that I don't think are good when really they probably do help people, but like help in like the exact scenario that you're talking about. But I feel like more often than not, whenever I hear statute of limitation come up, it's usually, oh, we can't convict this person for murder, even though we know it's them that murdered this person because of statute of limitations, or rape or whatever. Like, that's the only time I ever hear statute of limitations come up. It's never like it was used so that we could help this person. It was like no, it basically is preventing this known killer from going to prison. Like, yeah,
I'm not honestly sure on how they categorize shit, because yes, it was Wikipedia, but in the article I read, it said crimes that are widely considered heinous have no statute of limitations. There's usually no statute of limitations for murder. However,
why?
That does not go into rape or sexual assault. Those still have statute of limitations on them. So that's a frustrating thing that we now know.
I don't agree with that.
I don't feel that way. So yeah, this case is really upsetting. It's really sad, but it brought about very important legal action that needed to be made so that people can keep track of what's going on in their area and keep their children safe. So
there was a YouTuber that I was listening to recently that kind of made a salient but a kind of depressing point about kind of like a similar thing that you said, where it's like so it's like, yes, this did create hopefully legal things that could prevent things like this from happening in the future, but just thinking about how many laws and stuff like that we have and how many people had to die for those laws to come into effect.
Yeah. I was watching the documentary and I was like, oh, God, I just wish they just didn't go out to get a movie that night. Like, I just wish that they called the mom and she said no, and they just said, okay, and we'll just stay home. But then I was like, but then it would just happen to a different kid. Like, it's still going to happen. It'll just be a different name, and the same sad thing will happen.
Instead of Jacob Wetterling, we'd be talking about some other kid.
And yeah, but like the parents in this scenario, like, they advocated for change. They tried to progress. Like, they tried to make it a better place for their community and their people. So the parents, even though they had to deal with this horrible, horrible thing, really just showed that they were good people and they wanted other people to be safe. So I don't know.
I don't know if I would be good people.
I would not be good people. I'd be so upset.
Because if I can tell you right now, McCall, if somebody had like killed you or something like that, the way that I would be like in the courtroom for like that, was it the Jeffrey Dahmer one where like the sister is like screaming at him, like, you look at me, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was
the
Jeffrey
way
Dahmer.
the way that I would be that person. I'm like, you fucking look at me. Like the way that I'd be like, I would be like going to kill him. Like,
I don't know how his parents are so amazing, but they just are fucking rad. I like
truly, yeah. It takes it. That's the thing is, I don't think because that's a strength that I don't have. That's like
they're good people.
About it. They are. Yeah, they're good people.
It was a bummer.
They deserve justice.
Yes,
and I think they got.
And at least they got closure.
Some closure. Yeah, I don't know about justice.
I don't know if they got justice. I don't know if they didn't get much because it's all sad, but they at least got closure eventually.
And then people are making movies about their fucking child dying. I don't know. I don't agree with that. We also have a podcast where we talk about it, so I don't understand. I don't understand how to. I don't know, but I don't understand like the movies being made about like they should be the piss babies. They should be the piss babies. Like we shouldn't be making movies about how like the twisted genius. Like no, he's an asshole.
Got it. I was like, who is a piss baby?
Who do you think is the piss baby? The person who killed people. Like no,
he's dead.
What do I? Like, no, we shouldn't be making movies talking about who and then visually on screen showing the murders that were committed. That we should not, that's not something that should be done.
Yes. And the murderer is played by someone
hot.
Like hot. Like look, Zac Efron's gonna be oh my God, what's his stupid name?
Not John Wayne Gacy.
John
Wayne Gacy. No,
we'd have to have a fatter actor for that.
Bundy. Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy, yeah. Like
it's like why?
Don't put it. Everyone stop. Stop.
We should get like we should like yes, we know that this character like that we know that in real life they looked like this. We're getting somebody who just is not even close. Like
we're gonna CGI a regular guy to look even worse if that's possible.
We're gonna give them just. I actually don't think the movie should be made in the first place. I don't know. First place. And if anything, it should be made in the most disparaging light against the killer.
It should just be a documentary that's giving you the facts. But also documentary sensationalized. I don't know how I feel about it. All I know is I'm upset and I feel things.
It should be either like completely 100% the facts, or it should be, oh my God, Jeffrey Dahmer. You have such a small penis.
I can't think of something mean enough for it to mean anything. I can't either.
And like even saying something like you're like a small penis, that's not an insult. It's not
enough. It's not enough.
I'm trying to think of, but that's me grasping at straws. To be like, so at that point, I'm like, no, then it shouldn't be made.
Yeah, it just shouldn't be made.
Unless, like you said, unless it's like a documentary where it's literally just giving you the objective truth. With no dramatic reenactments of like the children being killed. Oh my God.
Just a note for any directors out there: I don't need a reenactment. They all look bad. I need you to know that they have always been bad and corny and shitty, and no one wants them.
Nope.
I just want the British guy to say, "And then the tables turned." I can't do accents. I've realized.
That was pretty serviceable. That was pretty okay. That was pretty okay.
Right. I honestly was just like, hold your mouth differently and maybe it'll sound weird.
Well, with accents, you do have to kind of focus about like where your words are coming from.
They're coming from my mouth. Sorry.
Like some dialects are a little like throatier. Some are a little more towards the teeth.
I can't do it. Brendan was like,
I've been working on is Irish, and it's a little like Irish has like a little like a sing-songiness to it.
It does. It's nice. Hey, give me your best Kermit. Go.
Me? Kermit the Frog here.
Okay, Brendan. I was having a conversation with Brendan and he said, give me your best Kermit. So I said, Kermit the Frog here. And he said, something other than that. And I was like, I don't know what else.
It's literally it's one of his catchphrases practically.
Like, yeah, Brendan, get off my back.
And then what's the because of Kermit the Frog here? Well, like kidnapping Jack Black, Fosse.
All I know is I tried to not. I had to say something other than Kermit the Frog here. Couldn't do it. Could not do it. I have no Kermit the Frog voice.
All you have to do is just kind of like start just kind of saying how you think you'd maybe talk, because he does when he talks, he kind of goes a lot, like he'll like kind of do that like trailing off. Well, I don't like, he's very unsure of himself when he speaks a lot of the time, unless someone's kidnapped Jack Black, in which case he's very objective to that.
I love that movie so much.
Did you see they're coming out with another one?
What? No, what? Oh my god!
There's another. Well, it's not like it's a Muppets movie, but it's about it's called The Mayhem, I think is what it's called.
Oh shit!
It's focusing on the band with
the band. Animal.
With like Animal and the chick with
Candace.
the long hair.
Is her name Candace?
I don't know. You're the Muppet person. I just assumed that you were right.
I love puppets. I'm a weird puppet girl, by the way. I didn't know this. Yeah. I became an adult and I'm like, oh, am I? Is this a thing about my personality I didn't know till now?
Everyone likes puppets.
I fucking love puppets. But yeah, you should tell your siblings story to lighten up this sad mood.
Yeah. So it's one that happened just recently with me and Charlie. So we usually go to this place in Fargo called the Blarney Stone. We'll go there quite frequently. I think. No, you actually haven't been up here, so we haven't taken you yet.
Yeah.
But Mom and Dad went with us a while ago. But we go there pretty frequently for brunch, because their deal with brunch is that they do. So you can order like a one of their breakfast items, which is, I'm gonna level with you, which is a variety of bacon, some kind of potato, and cheese, and an egg. Usually,
I love it.
And it's great. No, I'm saying it kind of being funny about it, but no, it's like, it's great. And then also sometimes they'll have like, like bangers and mash and a fried tomato, and sometimes they'll have the blood fart from a dead goose or whatever.
What the hell?
Yeah, and then they put it all together so it looks like a lot. No, I love it. No, they're great. We go to Blarney Stone fairly often. And the other thing, when you order this breakfast item, you get a free drink.
Oh,
not a free drink, but it's included with the meal. So you can have like a Bloody Mary, a mimosa, or a screwdriver. So like, it's nice. It's fun. It's a very nice, like easygoing, just kind of like, we wake up, head over there around 11, come back home and do our thing. But, so we went there recently and they have this thing. It's like their seasoned sour cream that we'll get when we get waffle fries there. They call it Dublin dip. And Charlie and I were like talking, and we were talking with this very nice bartender, and he was being friendly, and we were kind of chatting and talking, and we were like, he's like, oh, were you ready to order? And Charlie ordered his thing. He got like, his thing that he got was like these, they called them Irish nachos, which is basically potatoes. It's a waffle fries with all the stuff for like a breakfast thing. So it had like a hollandaise sauce and 2 poached eggs and all these other fixins. And he's like, and then I would like an order of the Dublin dip. And I got something. I got a Benedict. And for my side, I was like, oh, I'll do the waffle fries. And then I leaned over to Charlie and I was like, and full voice too. I was like, we don't need any more Dublin dip we don't need any more because I'll just share the Dublin dick with you, Charlie. And I was like, oh.
I can never come back.
Exactly. I said it, and like with it, like because the waiter was obvious, or the bartender was like, what? Oh. Well, and then he started laughing, and he was like, God, I love working at this bar. Like because Dublin's a different place. Blarney Stone's huge. It is gigantic. There's like an upper floor. There's like 2 or 3 bars, and I like to sit at there's a bar that has like more windows open. And I know it's a little more authentic Irish to be like in a dark bar, like with no windows. But I'm
cloaked in shadow.
Yeah, I'm a little more like I like the windows. I'm not like Mom where I need to be in the sunlight, but I just like the openness that room has. And so I guess that attracts more people that this guy likes. But he was nice and he took it fine, but I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, I said Dublin dick.
I said dick.
And then they order, and the worst part is, and not the worst part, but they ordered me a separate side of Dublin dip, which is another $1.25. And I was like, God damn it.
No.
And it's sitting in our fridge still.
$1.25
for dip. And it's a good amount of dip. But in saying that, it's a good amount of dip that Charlie and I could have shared. And that was the intent of what I was saying, like, I will just share his Dublin dip. But I think in that moment, he heard that I wanted
double dick.
Double dick.
You wanted to get double dicked, and the guy was like, I get it.
Oh my God.
I'll get you a free dip. Just kidding. You have to pay for it.
Yeah, but I was clearly had other things on the mind. Anyway, yeah, so that was my sibling story. That was my day.
Well. It's the end. And if you're still here, that means you get to listen to my spiel. So if you want to follow us on anything, we are the Living Scary Podcast. We are on Twitter, Tumblr, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. You can always email us your spooky stories, your sibling stories, if you want a shout out on our podcast. Our email is livingscarypodcast@gmail.com. It is also livingsvicariously@gmail.com. If you are a ride or die ho and you've been here from the beginning, I look at both of them. I've been doing it daily. I'm still searching. So why don't you just goddamn email me? Yeah. So yeah, that's my shit. I gotta pee?
All right.
Thank you.
You go pee.
I frickin' will.
And then here we go. I'll sign off. Pee. Oh God, wait, what? Oh, I thought I was going to sneeze. Okay, no, we're good.
Yikes. Wait, that was the end? Oh my God.